Welcome to Redvee TV's Instant Reaction, supported by Chapel House for the 2023 season, following Saints' 32 points to 18 victory here at the MKM Stadium in Hull on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Kevin, it wasn't as easy as we'd have liked, but we always did it. We're looking like we were going to do enough just to get that job done and get over the line and in the hat for the next round.
I think in the Cup, that's all you need to do. Just do enough, get through, and give yourself a chance, which is what we did today. Don't think we started out great, but
I thought we were good for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, but the first half, I thought we could have pushed them and kind of been away from them. As it was, you lose Mark Percival, we did. And
I think that's when it went wrong a little bit.
Yeah.
We were on the front foot from the start. Batch goes over, running a great line. We're 6-0 up. We get the penalty for Percival being smashed into the ground. We go 8-0 up, but then we had to reshape the team a little bit, and Hull FC took advantage.
Well, I think, as we said while we were watching the game, we kind of targeted Sione in the air.
Who was then filling in for Percy.
Yes, and has done more of his work at prop and 13 in the past couple of weeks. So he can play there, but he's just been parachuted into a position, hasn't he? And forced to kind of just get involved. Don't necessarily think he had a bad game there, but
You're filling in,
yeah.
Now, the question is, should Brad Fash have still been on the pitch? Obviously, they then got the advantage by targeting Sione on the high kick. I'm unsure. We have tweeted, is it red? There's 3 men in a tackle. The arm's on the head, and it's forced his head into the ground. You could argue, do you see that 10-15 times a game? But under the rules, it's a high. Is it high? And is he caused unnecessary force to Percival's head? Is it red? And the question is, if you've given a penalty, you've obviously seen something, so why are you putting it on report and not making a call on the day whether that's yellow or red?
Yeah, the on-report thing is obviously to do with interchanges, isn't it? But I'm not sure it is.
But you shouldn't be making decisions on report, so it gives the team an interchange. You're putting something on report because for me, it's usually you've not seen something, but then you've given the penalty.
Whether he's been able... Well, you can, if a video ref can get involved if it's foul play and a potential red.
So what's the need for putting something on report then?
I don't know. We can ask him. We can wait and ask him.
Ian Smith, where are you? Where are you?
Is it a red? I think the fact that I'm having to think about it...
Orange.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get 10 minutes.
Will he cop a ban this week?
I think possibly, because I think they may say he's reckless about the outcome.
So there you go. So if you're copping a ban, how can it not be a red in the game?
Yeah. Or a card in the game. Yes. Of some. I'm not necessarily going for red. Although I'm quite happy if people do. I'm not against that opinion. But do you see it a lot of times in a game? Do you just not notice it? Is it the severity? Are we then saying that we need to referee things on the severity?
Go on, Saints. All right, little man.
I'm on YouTube now.
Did you enjoy it?
Subscribe.
Did you enjoy that today?
Yeah.
Best bits?
Scoring tries.
Man of the match?
Jack Wellesley.
Apart from when he crashed into tea. He made up for it a couple of minutes later. Another good victory. Yeah. One game from Wembley. Yeah. Is your dad going to take you?
I don't know.
Are you taking him to Wembley? Of course, he's promised now. We've just got to get there, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to today? Apart from coming to the game, have you conned your dad out to lots of food and sweets?
Yeah.
Wellesby. So for Wellesby, man of the match. There you go.
There we go.
See, got common sense like your dad.
Yeah.
Nice, high five before we go. Catch you soon. Where are we? Yeah, so obviously after the card, Hull did get on top of that 20 minutes before half time. But then we've done enough to get ourselves back on level terms.
You said keep MKM in there here, so I am doing.
Just in case they want to sponsor.
What did you say then? I'm completely. I'm currently doing my directing bit.
went 12-8 down, got
Yeah.
ourselves back to
Yes.
level terms. And at that point, that second half, a win's a win.
A win, correct.
Hello, Mr. McCormack. 12 all. Who to goes? You're thinking this second half.
Before you get to that, Conrad Harrell's try, perfect wing play by staying out wide.
He's just been watching Tommy, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has on that side. Now, people may say that he was just making sure he didn't have to cut inside, but just being on that wing and holding his position out there led to him getting the try and being able to come in a little bit more to try and make the kick a little bit easier, obviously.
Speaking of Conrad, by the way, we were saying earlier on, I know there's been debate about whether Louis should be coming in the team, and he's unlucky to be missing out. We got the team right on Redvee. We said it'd be unchanged. But one of the reasons Louis possibly is missing out as well is because of how strong Conrad is carrying the ball. If you're sending him on a run, maybe once every couple of sets, he's running it like a prop and making prop-like meters.
Yeah,
he's so versatile.
It's so big for us because we do use our backs. You look at especially Makinson, Percival, and Harrell coming out of that back line, making meters, giving your forwards that rest, but then still having the skill set to do what they need to do down the other end of the pitch. He's vital, and it probably is why Louis not been there. I know people will say we should have had a back on the bench today, but 2 injuries like that...
Can you legislate losing both your centre and your winger?
No.
Obviously, Percy's gone off, Tommy's gone off with I think it's hamstring injury he's got. It's left us short, and we looked like we weren't going to score wide. I know Harrell has, but we were going to do it tough. Gets to 12 all half time. You're thinking this is anyone's game in the second half. Hull looked a little bit up for it, and then Josh Griffin has a little bit of a brain fart. We're not entirely sure what the words he's used are, but he's had a bit of a stanker. And if you use that sort of language, it's a banker that you're going to see a red card. And as the crowd were told, it's a family game, and they responded in kind as well. And they should have all been shown a red card.
It would have been funny if Kendall had done that, give a penalty against the crowd. But
you just can't do it.
You say it's a family game. It's like back chatting to your mum. You're always going to get an early bath and no supper. You're always going to get sent out to your room. That's exactly what's happened.
Is that the moment today? The game was lost for Hull.
Yes, because they were well in it. They were absolutely well in it, and we spoke about it being a banana skin. They were playing well enough to win that game. We had the mitigation of being down 2 interchanges because the lads going off. Then they lost a man, which was obviously bigger. It was obviously bigger for them. I'm sure Josh Griffin will be full of remorse, and he's not done anything. Like you can't do it. He'll be full of remorse, but he's costing his team a semi-final, a potential semi-final place there. That is definitely where it was lost, because then it allowed us and we can't really go too far out wide because you're missing your first choice winger on the right and your first choice centre on the left. But it allows us to have that ability to go forward and start finding the little holes that he's left.
Yeah. We come out second half. You felt we just needed to be patient, didn't you? Get ourselves back in front and gain field position, because that's Hull looked most dangerous when we put ourselves under pressure. Yeah. Once we managed to stop doing that a little bit, we looked a lot better for it.
90 seconds into that second half, we could have scored again. Joe Batch knocking on with the line, begging. And yeah, I speak about it an awful lot, earning the right to play, and we started doing that. And once we started doing that, and once Johnny Lomax got into the game, because I don't think he had a great first half, but second half he started showing his class, started finding them gaps, started putting the passes out, really getting us forward. And that, again, when Lomax is on any type of form, we're a difficult team to beat, as Hull have found them.
I thought that was Lewis Dodd's best game in a long time as well. He looked to take the line on more, take it to the line. putting good balls. He put Sirenin in for one. As soon as he masters kicking from 30 metres out and dropping it in front of the line rather than just behind it, he'd have been a 9 out of 10 performance today. But he was much better, and we looked. Listen, you're playing once your pack's playing well, your backs come into it, and I think some of our early season issues where they were playing behind a little bit of a beaten pack at times. Fair to say.
Yeah, whether
we weren't playing well.
Beaten, it just wasn't a pack on its game.
Yeah, too many injuries, too many absentees.
I think Lewis Dodd has been good for a couple of weeks now. I think he's been building, and that word he takes the line on and scores his own try as well. Excellent. It's what we want to see from him. It is absolutely what we want to see from him. The lad's a talent. Yeah, he's had a bit of grief from fans. Some that you could argue is justified. Some that you'd argue is absolutely
tosh.
Yeah, absolute rubbish. But him, and I'll give a shout out to Joey Lussick as well, who I just think was really quick round the ruck and took us forward. There was only, again, one moment for him where he tried to kick through and you think, what are you doing there? But he's obviously seen something that he's tried to do. It's not come off. I thought he was very, very good for us, really quick, and got us around the pitch and had to take on the kicking duties as well.
Mr. Wellesby with a little whoopsie at full-back. Saints are, 28-16, is it, at that point?
So we're
high kick goes up.
24-12.
Kick goes up. It's Ritson's all day. Wellesby's coming from behind. Should be leaving it at that point. The communication's got to be better. I think there was one earlier in the season where he had a mix-up with Tommy Mack. Listen, it's a small thing. But then 5 minutes later he atones for it by going over the line himself.
Yeah. Listen, you're at full-back. He's got to either make that call and make it loud enough that Ritson's got out the way, or Ritson's got to make the call so Wellesby knows he's to go nowhere near it. And whether that is a bit of naivety from one, a bit of over-exuberance from another, I don't know. It will look like it could be an absolutely massive turning point. But as you say, he's set up a couple today. He scored one. It shouldn't really be to his detriment. It's one mistake, but he needs to learn from them. And if he's going to be a fullback who comes for it, he's got to make sure his winger is well out of the way.
Defensively, you've just got to be commanding.
Yes,
in that situation.
Yeah. You wouldn't see, for example, and we talk about good defensive fullbacks, you wouldn't necessarily see Lachlan Coote getting in a mix-up with one of his wingers. You probably wouldn't see Paul Wellens getting a mix-up with one of his wingers.
I hope not, because he sat in the stand.
No, back in the day. He might do, who knows? But back in the day, he wouldn't have got a mixed up with his wingers, or it'd have been very rare. As long as Jack keeps them kind of to a very minimum, he'll be fine. He's a talent, isn't he?
He's all right, isn't he? He's all right. We'll keep him in the team. All in all, job done. Tough one. Couple of injuries. We will discuss it on the TV show this week, but we were already thinking about rotation for Thursday. Now it's absolutely guaranteed, isn't it? Yeah,
short turnaround as well. You're looking at the likes of John Bennison and Will Hopewati coming back in. You're looking at Louis coming back in because the forwards have had to do big minutes. Maybe George Delaney. Maybe Joey Lussick starting the game and bringing James Roby on from the bench. There's a lot that we can discuss.
I think you bring all four in,
like
you've just said. But we're in the draw for the cup. It's us, Hull KR. Should be Lee, and then Wigan or Warrington. Hopefully I'd say get the easy draw, but I'm not entirely sure. We would want to the semi. No. It's everyone's tough in their own right.
Yep.
But 80 minutes from Wembley, job done. Back here Thursday. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Sleep in the blank corner.
Possibly. Find a place. There's a bin there for you. You could go in there. Although it's red, you don't like that colour. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And we'll catch you on Tuesday for the Redvee TV show. Redvee TV show. Easy for you to say, Kevin. Yes.
Catch you soon.